Ever feel like you're a plant serial killer? You buy something beautiful, it sits in your garden for 2 weeks and then dead. Or maybe you just don't have time to water, fertilize, and fuss over plants every single day. What if I told you there are plants that actually prefer neglect? Plants that thrive when you forget about them. Plants that come back year after year, spread on their own, and look stunning without you lifting a finger after planting them once. Today, we're counting down 7 plants that practically grow themselves. We're talking minimal watering, zero fertilizing, no pruning, and most of them are perennials that return every spring. You'll get gorgeous flowers, attract pollinators, even grow your own herbs, all with almost zero effort. Let's get started. Number 7. Mint. Mint is the plant that refuses to die. In fact, your bigger challenge will be keeping it from taking over your entire garden. This perennial herb spreads aggressively through underground runners, meaning once you plant it, it multiplies on its own. Mint tolerates shade, which is rare for herbs, and it keeps coming back every year without any help from you. The benefits: fresh mint leaves anytime you want them for tea, mojitos, salads, or desserts. It smells incredible when you brush past it, and it naturally repels some pests like mosquitoes and ants. Mint is also forgiving if you forget to water it. It might droop a little, but it bounces right back. Here's your simple planting tip. Plant mint in a container or use a buried barrier to control its spread, because it will try to colonize everything. Give it partial sun to full shade and decent soil, water it when you first plant it, then basically forget about it. Mint will do its thing. If it gets too wild, just pull some out or mow over it. It's nearly impossible to kill. If you want an edible plant that requires zero babysitting and gives you fresh flavor all season long, mint is your go-to. Number 6. Oregano. Oregano is the herb that thrives on neglect. This Mediterranean perennial actually prefers poor, rocky soil and doesn't want you to fuss over it. Overwater oregano or give it rich soil and it gets leggy and weak. Ignore it in lean, dry conditions and it becomes tough, aromatic, and incredibly flavorful. Once established, oregano is seriously drought-tolerant. It forms a low-growing mat that spreads slowly and comes back reliably every spring. The flavor intensifies when the plant is a little stressed, which means your laziness actually improves the harvest. The benefits are clear. You get fresh oregano for pizza, pasta, grilled meats, and roasted vegetables all summer and into fall. It produces small purple or white flowers that bees and butterflies love, so you're supporting pollinators without any extra effort. Oregano is also deer-resistant, so wildlife usually leaves it alone. And because it's evergreen in mild climates, you can sometimes harvest it year-round. Planting tip: give oregano full sun and well-drained soil. If your soil is heavy clay, mix in some sand or gravel or plant it in a raised bed or container. Water it once or twice after planting to help it settle in, then leave it alone. Oregano doesn't need fertilizer and rarely needs water once its roots are established. Trim it back after flowering if you want to keep it tidy, but even that's optional. This is a true plantain forget-it herb that rewards your neglect with incredible flavor and zero maintenance. Number 5. Sedum, also called stonecrop. Sedum is a succulent ground cover that laughs in the face of drought. This plant stores water in its thick, fleshy leaves, so it can go weeks without rain and still look plump and happy. Sedum spreads on its own, filling in gaps between rocks, spilling over walls, or carpeting the ground with dense, colorful foliage. It's a perennial that comes back every year and actually gets better with age as it fills in more space. There are hundreds of sedum varieties, from low creeping types to taller upright sedums, and all of them are nearly indestructible. Why is sedum almost zero effort? It tolerates poor soil, intense heat, and long dry spells. It doesn't need fertilizer, pruning, or deadheading. Many sedums bloom in late summer or fall with clusters of tiny star-shaped flowers in shades of pink, red, yellow, or white, and these blooms attract bees and butterflies when not much else is flowering. Sedum is also evergreen or semi-evergreen in many climates, giving you year-round interest. Deer and rabbits generally avoid it. Here's your planting tip: plant sedum in full sun and well-drained soil. It tolerates some shade but flowers best in sun. You can even grow sedum in gravel between pavers or in shallow soil on a green roof. Water it once when you plant it, then let nature take over. Sedum roots easily from cuttings, so if a piece breaks off, just stick it in the ground and it'll grow. If you want a plant that looks great, spreads naturally, and survives on pure neglect, sedum is your answer. It's gardening on autopilot. Number 4. Black-eyed Susan or Rudbeckia. Black-eyed Susan is the wildflower that does all the work for you. This cheerful perennial produces masses of bright yellow daisy-like flowers with dark brown centers from midsummer through fall. Once you plant Black-eyed Susan, it self-seeds prolifically, meaning it drops seeds that sprout into new plants the next year without you doing anything. Over time, you'll have a whole meadow of blooms from just 1 or 2 starter plants. Black-eyed Susans are native to North America, so they're perfectly adapted to a wide range of climates and conditions. They're drought-tolerant once established, pest-resistant, and deer usually leave them alone. The benefits are huge. You get months of non-stop color that brightens up any garden bed or wild area. These flowers are pollinator magnets, attracting bees, butterflies, and songbirds that love the seeds in fall and winter. Black-eyed Susans also make excellent cut flowers, so you can bring that sunny vibe indoors. They thrive in less than perfect soil and don't need fertilizer or deadheading, though deadheading can extend the bloom if you want to bother. Most people don't, and the plants bloom heavily anyway. Planting tip: plant Black-eyed Susans in full sun and average to dry soil. They'll tolerate clay, sand, or rocky ground. Water them a few times after planting to help them establish, then let them fend for themselves. They'll spread by seed and also by slowly expanding clumps. If they spread too much, you can easily pull out extras or share them with neighbors. Black-eyed Susans are the definition of plant it once and enjoy forever. They're tough, reliable, and bring joy without any effort on your part. Number 3. Marigolds. Marigolds are the ultimate easy annual, and while they only live 1 season, they self-seed so effectively that they come back year after year like perennials. These bright orange, yellow, and red flowers are workhorses in the garden. They bloom continuously from late spring until the first hard frost, and they do it all in full sun with minimal water and 0 fertilizer. Marigolds are also natural pest repellers. Their scent deters aphids, mosquitoes, and even some soil nematodes, making them great companion plants for vegetable gardens. Plant marigolds once, and you'll likely have volunteer seedlings popping up every spring without replanting. The benefits of marigolds go beyond their cheerful color. They're incredibly hardy and adapt to almost any soil type. They don't mind heat, and once established, they handle dry spells well. Marigolds attract pollinators like bees and butterflies, and they're edible too. The petals are used in salads and as a natural food coloring. Marigolds are also one of the few flowers that thrive in containers, raised beds, or directly in the ground with equal ease. They grow fast, so you see results quickly, and they ask for almost nothing in return. Planting tip: scatter marigold seeds directly in the soil after the last frost, or plant nursery starts in full sun. They'll grow in poor soil, rich soil, or anything in between. Water them occasionally when they're young, and after that, they're mostly self-sufficient. Let the flowers go to seed at the end of the season, and you'll have free marigolds next year. If you want color, pest protection, and pollinator support with nearly 0 maintenance, marigolds deliver every single time. They're proof that easy plants can still be showstoppers. Number 2. Russian Sage. Russian sage is the tall, elegant perennial that makes your garden look designed even when you're barely trying. This plant produces airy spikes of lavender blue flowers from midsummer through fall, and its silvery gray foliage looks beautiful even when it's not blooming. Russian sage thrives on neglect. It's extremely drought-tolerant once established, meaning you can forget to water it for weeks and it won't bat an eye. It doesn't need fertilizer, it's resistant to pests and diseases, and deer and rabbits won't touch it because of its strong aromatic oils. Russian sage is a true set-it-and-forget-it plant. The benefits are impressive. You get months of soft, hazy blooms that attract bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds. The flowers and foliage have a pleasant sage-like scent, and the plant adds movement to the garden because it sways gracefully in the breeze. Russian sage also provides structure and height, growing 3 to 4 feet tall and wide, so it fills space quickly without spreading aggressively. It's heat-tolerant, cold-hardy, and adapts to poor soil with ease. In late fall, the silvery stems remain standing, adding winter interest to your garden. Planting tip: plant Russian sage in full sun and well-drained soil. It tolerates clay, sand, and rocky ground as long as water doesn't sit around the roots. Water it a few times after planting, then walk away. Russian sage needs no deadheading, no staking, and no special care. You can cut it back to about 6 inches in early spring to encourage bushier growth, but even that's optional. If you want a plant that looks like $1,000,000 and requires almost zero effort, Russian sage is your winner. It's the ultimate low-maintenance statement plant. Number 1. Lamb's ear. Lamb's ear takes the top spot because it's possibly the most forgiving, low-maintenance perennial you can grow. This plant is famous for its soft, fuzzy, silver-gray leaves that feel like velvet when you touch them. Kids and adults alike love stroking the leaves, which is why it's often planted along pathways or in sensory gardens. Lamb's ear spreads slowly by creeping stems that root wherever they touch the ground, creating a dense, weed-suppressing ground cover over time. It's a perennial that returns reliably every year, and it's nearly impossible to kill. It tolerates drought, poor soil, heat, cold, and even some shade. It asks for absolutely nothing in return. The benefits of lamb's ear are subtle but powerful. The silvery foliage brightens up shady or dry spots where other plants struggle. It contrasts beautifully with green or dark-leaved plants, adding texture and visual interest without flowers. Lamb's ear does produce tall spikes of small purple flowers in early summer, and while some gardeners cut these off to keep the focus on the foliage, the flowers attract bees and other pollinators if you leave them. Lamb's ear is also deer and rabbit resistant, so wildlife leaves it alone. And because it's evergreen or semi-evergreen in many climates, it provides color and texture year-round. Planting tip: plant lamb's ear in full sun to partial shade and well-drained soil. It tolerates poor, rocky, or sandy soil with no problem. Space plants about 12 inches apart and they'll fill in on their own. Water once or twice after planting, then ignore it. Lamb's ear is drought-tolerant and doesn't need supplemental water once established. It doesn't need fertilizer, pruning, or deadheading unless you want to tidy it up. If the center of the clump dies out after a few years, simply divide it and replant the healthy outer sections. Lamb's ear is the ultimate beginner plant and the ultimate lazy gardener's dream. It's proof that the best plants are the ones that practically grow themselves. And there you have it, 7 plants that thrive on neglect and give you beautiful results with almost zero effort. Whether you want herbs, flowers, or ground covers, these plants prove you don't need a green thumb or hours of free time to create a gorgeous garden. Just plant them once, step back, and let them do their thing. So which of these 7 will you plant first? Drop a comment below and let me know. And if you want more easy, practical planting ideas that make your space beautiful without the hassle, hit that subscribe button and join the Cultiva community. Thanks for watching and happy planting.